how Assassin's Creed could fix modern day. That is what we are here to discuss, and hopefully I'll have some good solutions. But given my track record, it's really not that common. So before going any further, I would just like to say, do subscribe to my channel for more content, because as you might have seen, that's pretty much Assassin's Creed here, and Valhalla is coming out, so obviously there's going to be more content about that. But even without that, there is Watch Dogs Legion, there's Cyberpunk 2077, and yeah, stay tuned to my channel for all that content. Now, before I can go into the topic of how would I fix the modern day, I first need to discuss why modern day needs to be fixed in the first place. Now, if you are a newer fan of the Assassin's Creed series, and keep in mind I am generalizing here, so you may or may not fall into this category, you may have your own things, people are complicated, you cannot generalize, but I am, because I can't make a 1 hour video of this. Well, if you are someone who has played only the modern games like Origins and Odyssey, you weren't as interested in Assassin's Creed at all before, now you are slowly starting to gain interest because of this new direction the series has gone in. That's fine, I really respect your decision. But the thing is, this franchise is not just Origins and Odyssey. This franchise was something more. And that something more stemmed from it being kind of a breath of fresh air in terms of storytelling, because what Assassin's Creed managed to do, no other game has really replicated it in the scale that Assassin's Creed has done. Now, the thing is, and I'm saying the thing is a lot, I know that's kind of my catchphrase when I'm thinking. In Assassin's Creed, modern day has always held sort of a special status. It has always sucked. And yes, this is coming from someone who actually loves the modern day storyline. I love the modern day storyline. I feel that is the actual story of Assassin's Creed. But it sucks. Not the storyline, but what we are actually doing in that storyline. Now if you see, right from the beginning in the first game, all we do is go to our room, come back to the Animus, lie down, that's it. Then in Assassin's Creed 2, we actually have some small segments where we play as Desmond, but we are still recycling and reusing everything that we had in the, Animus. The guards that are fighting in the modern day, for some reason, don't have guns. And don't give me the excuse that, oh, they want to use a non-lethal option. You guys do realize there are stun guns, there are rubber bullets, there are many ways to actually use guns which are non-lethal. So why not do that? Because they didn't bother to actually do anything about the modern day. Now, arguably the next game that I'm going to talk about, that is Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, the modern day segments were the best because there were platforming sections, there were parkour sections, then there was simple story bits, everything was good, the story was obviously great, but again the gameplay was extremely disappointing because even the parkour was there and all that, just the lack of combat. And when we move, and the most egregious example of this is Assassin's Creed 3. In Assassin's Creed 3, the guards in modern day take like 5-6 seconds to aim their gun at you. Now that made sense in the Animus because those guards were trying to aim a whole, what do you call it? Those whole rifles, those big, huge muskets, they were aiming that. So yeah, it made sense that they were taking time to aim, but these are guards with semi-automatic pistols. Why are they taking so much time? That's because they just reused all the animations, they just reused all the gameplay systems. Now the first thing that I would do is to make sure that a separate team is working on this and they are working to actually create new levels, to create a sort of a different sort of a gameplay system which complements the modern day maps, so that the gameplay can actually feel fresh, so that when people actually play in the modern day segment, they actually feel like they're playing something new, something different, and that might actually make them want to play the game more. I know it will definitely work on me, and I'm sure it would work on a lot of people. Now that is one of my points, but that's not the end of the story. There are many other problems with the modern day segments. Now the second problem that I had was the lack of consistency, and the biggest proof that I can provide about this lack of consistency is Odyssey. Now again, a lot of people might assume I'm bashing Odyssey, which I kind of am, but honestly this is not about Odyssey. This is about Assassin's Creed in general, because it's not just Odyssey who makes these sort of mistakes, it's just that the Odyssey is freshly in the back of my mind. Now the thing with Odyssey, the mistake that they made was that whichever character you select ends up appearing in the modern day segments. And I just have one question. Did the people who actually wrote that part actually read anything about Assassin's Creed? Did they play any single Assassin's Creed game? Because that is not how an animus works. What you do inside the animus does not change what happens outside the animus. Even, you might say that, Ezio was talking to Desmond, or Minerva talks to Desmond. By the way, these are spoilers for Assassin's Creed 2, but these games have been out for since 2009. These don't even count as spoilers anymore. So, yeah. So when she was doing that, she was playing a pre-recorded message, which she knew Desmond was eventually going to watch, because Isu have that ability to see through time. But that's a different topic. The thing is, that was still a pre-recorded message. That was not really changing anything. And the problem with this segment is that no matter which DNA stream you select, you always get to play as the same character, just with either a man or a woman. First of all, that is fucking ridiculous. And I don't even need to defend that, because the developers themselves fucked up. Because in the Legacy of the First Blood, was it, or in the Atlantis DLC, we access the other strand of the DNA, and guess who we play as? If you guessed Demos, then 10 points to you. Although you are not going to get anything for 10 points. So yeah, the whole thing was a goddamn mess. And what I would like them to do is please have some sort of a lore department for Assassin's Creed. Now this is a complaint that also kind of goes for the main game, also goes for the Isu storylines. So it's a complaint about Assassin's Creed in general, but please get a lore department. You don't need to hire someone outside Ubisoft. I'm pretty sure there are many people inside Ubisoft who know the lore by heart by now. I know Darby McDevitt does. He knows the lore. If he's introducing something into the lore, it usually makes sense. He knows the lore. He knows what he's doing. Maybe just consult him. So anyway, there's that. And now to the third point, and what I would say is one of the most important points when talking about modern day, is that people like to be immersed. Now the problem with Assassin's Creed is that usually what happens is a sequence finishes and then we are immediately booted back outside the animus. Now, I personally don't have a problem with it, because I like the modern day storyline. So if we are playing there, I have no issues with it. But when people say that this is just pulling me out of the experience, I agree with them. It is pulling you out of the experience. Now, if you are looking forward to the experience you are going into, that's fine. But if you are not looking forward to it, it could be a really crappy experience when you are interrupted between the game again and again and again. So the way I would fix it, and again, these are my solutions, which are not the end all be all. And honestly, I am kind of a dumbass, so they may not even be good solutions, but they are solutions regardless. Now, how I would fix it is that instead of, just the end of a sequence and booting the player out, just write it in such a way that there are soft locks in the story that will let you go over the modern day part, and you don't necessarily need to go out of the animus until and unless a major event happens. So now what the hell do I actually mean by that? So for example, I would say you finish one quest. Say, save the king. That's one quest. You finish that quest. Now after you have finished, the modern day handler, usually that used to be Rebecca in the older games, she tells you that, you may want to log out of the animus. We are having this so-and-so problem. So if you want to, just please help us out. But you decide, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go on with the main storyline. I don't really want to go. That's fine. Then after that, in the next quest, Rebecca's warning becomes more dire. Like, please help us out here. We're kind of on a limb here. Just help us out. Still doesn't work. You still don't go there, but you still have a choice. At any point, you can still log out of the animus and still go into that modern day storyline. Instead of the animus actually booting you out, you can still go when you decide to. Now, but you still need some hard lock, because obviously these stories are flowing together. So in that hard lock mission, say you want to go into a quest. Now, before going into the quest, you will get a message like, please log out and help us like right now. Do it right now. And then you need to manually log out and go into the modern day and play. In that way, even though you are still getting out of the animus, at least you feel like it's your own choice, even though it's not really a choice. I'm kind of ruining it by saying it. It's not really a choice, but you still feel like you have some sort of an agency in deciding when to go out of the animus. And that would be one of the factors. And the other factor is, even if you say, you know what, okay, I'll progress the story later on, I just want to do some side quests now. Fine, you just go and you do some side quests. And when you're done with your heart's content, you just log out of the animus, do the modern day storyline, do whatever it is they require there, come back, then continue with the main story. That way, at least you will have the illusion of choice, which is better than having no choice. But again, these are my solutions. They may suck. They may be good. They may be okay. Again, I don't know. In my mind, they sound good. So do let me know down in the comments below. So do you guys think it's a good solution? Do you think it's a terrible solution? Do you have any better ideas? Then I would definitely love to know those. And yeah, so do let me know down in the comments below. And if you do end up liking this video, then consider pressing that like button. And also do subscribe to my channel for more content, because there is more content coming, as I said before, like in the beginning of the video. So yeah, and I leave you guys with it, and peace.